excited. I'm selling a property out of Racecourse Road, Brighton, and someone asked me the other day, was it heritage listed? And I was like, I have no idea. I just chucked it in. This tells me it is.
Oh, really?
We ended up doing what you did and going into the register and looking it up. But this PlanBuild just brings it straight up and it tells me its heritage number and everything. So it's a pretty cool product.
All right. Going once, going twice, sold. You're listening to the Property Pod.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Property Pod, your weekly engagement here into real estate in the Hobart Marketplace. I'm your host, Aaron Horn, and as always, I'm joined by superstars of real estate here in Tasmania, John McGregor and Patrick Berry. Welcome back, team.
Boys.
Thanks for having us back.
Well, look, it's so good that it rolls around to the day that I set up the studio and you guys decide like, yeah, I'm going to roll in and I'm going to get ready. And look, John's in his work attire, so he probably wasn't planning on coming and chatting with us this morning, but we do appreciate that you've found the time, my friend.
Well, I was hoping by the time I'd finish up at home, I'd have time to go back and have a shower and get back and look somewhat respectful. But in the end, given the nature of what we're planning to talk about, it kind of fitted in.
It does work. So you basically put on a costume for today.
That was pretty much it. I wasn't renovating.
Let's say, like, we record this pretty early in the morning. What time do you get up to think, like, I'm going to get some real hardcore renovations done? Then I'll have time to have a shower. Then I'll have time to put my new clothes on. Then I'll get to the office.
Well, admittedly, a couple of days ago I was up at 5:30. This morning's up at 6:30. But I just needed to finish off getting some little bits of insulation in before the sheeters finish off their bit.
Man, your neighbours must love you. Like just bang, bang, bang at 5:30 in the morning.
There was no banging. It's just gentle cutting. It's just gentle cutting.
All fun and games. How's it coming along? Tell us about how the renos are going.
Well, when you now the sheets are up, it like the plasterer said, it's that instant that you start to see that it can be a home now.
Yep.
Because we've just had exposed walls all throughout half the house, and of course it's taken way longer than it should. And I think it's a good lesson on project management. Is it obviously I love the vision and the design of it, but coordinating trades to be on time to finish those jobs, it's not easy. And when you're working full time, and the fact it's not actually my strong point.
I was going to say, even at the best of times,
even at the best times, I'm not the project manager. So, but it's come along well now. Now the plaster's up. You can see the niches in the bathrooms, everything. So it's like, okay, now I can start to see the vision actually coming together. Now that the kitchen designer can finish off his final measurement, so it should be all.
So what you're basically saying is the fundamental components are done, and now you're just making it look pretty.
Pretty much.
Cool, sweet. So it's a functional space almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
It does have walls.
Excellent. There's walls and a roof, just what everyone's chasing.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Pat, you've been up and away on the Gold Coast. Your son's actually 414 sponsored bike rider, Chaos Racing Team.
We sure do sponsor a racing team, mainly so I can get cheap trips, but so I'll take what I can get. So my boy competed in the Oceania Championships on the weekend in BMX racing, so that was fun.
So as you're describing the setup to me, like this is like a facility that, like basically an Olympic facility. Like obviously BMX is in the Olympics now, but like this, where you were racing was somewhere where Olympians by the end of the day were racing as well as training.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
So being an Oceania event, it's a UCI event. So UCI is like the World Bicycle Organisation for sporting.
Yep.
And to qualify for the World Championships, which you need to go to have any chance of being selected as an Olympian, you need to qualify certain UCI events, and this was one of them on the weekend. So, it was really good.
And then you're also saying that your son Parker was riding in two classes,
so he rides
which
two
is
bikes.
rare.
My boy does. So he does 20-inch and 24-inch. So he does anywhere up to 10 races on a weekend, where most kids will do somewhere between 3 to 5. So he had a pretty intense weekend racing.
Is that the size of the bike or the size of the heels?
Size of the wheels is 20 and 24-inch. So, small heel at 24 inches tall.
Yeah, it is. Dumb question. We were watching that race trying to catch him. Watching those, they're stressful because they just happen so quick. But some of those kids had some nasty stacks too. Like,
Parker was one of them.
Yeah, Jesus.
So,
I don't know if you
cracker.
seen the footage.
Not his one yet. No.
I'll show you later.
We saw a couple of his races.
This is like Parker's wheel bursting and then him flipping over the top of it is crazy.
So
he didn't have his best race weekend on his 20-inch, but these things happen. But made finals on his 24, so he was pretty pumped with the effort, so it was great.
Yeah, no, it looked like a cracking weekend away, and look, it's always good to get away from...
Oh, and he just loves watching the pros.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, watching those guys race is next level.
You were saying it was like the Big Bash with like fire shooting up out of the...
fire shooting out and like they all get their intro song and flashing lights. It's
Hell
like, yeah, it's a really good way they make the pros race at the end.
Yeah, nice. No, very good. Well, off what we've been doing, I went to Launceston. It was lovely. Had a wonderful time. I introduced my son, Henry Ronald, to his great-grandfather, Ronald Henry.
Oh,
so
cool.
they've got inverse of each other's names and a nice little homage to one another.
Yeah, it's lovely.
I head up there and we just played at the park in Launceston, which is just next-level park.
Yeah.
It is a good park.
The ultimate in parks, yeah. Even John, I think as a grown-up, you'd still have fun there. There's like this giant web, this net that is like, it looks like something off Gladiators.
That is good, especially when you climb to the top. But the other one I like is the swing that goes into the big pit.
Where's that? Is that in like the grown-up? Is that in the grown-up section?
No, you know where the big web is, and like the big walking tower along on the roof.
Yeah.
Just off to the side of that is this big giant.
Oh man, like you would not believe it, J-Mac. Like you are so high. I did actually the first time I did it was after a wedding. Really, really hungover. It was a really dangerous, terrible idea. And yeah, I got about 3/4 up. I was like, well, there's no going back now. And I was getting the sweats.
I mean,
Well, I find weird about these playgrounds because I go to a lot with my kids. That spider web that you described.
Yeah.
Like by the time you get to the top of that thing, you're what? 2 stories, 3 stories tall?
I reckon 3 stories at least.
And there's nothing stopping you from falling to your doom.
that's how a park should be. You know, it's a risk of danger. That's what makes it fun.
It's like an 80s park, yeah. It's like, if there's not sharp edges that could kill you, it's not worth being at.
What's the point?
All right, speaking of sharp edges that could kill you and things needing to be looked after and probably planning for events like this.
Oh, look at that.
Look at this guy.
Mate.
I wanted to
King
jump
of
in.
segues.
I wanted to jump into this new online portal that was kind of released. Elise Archer has been championing this recently. So it's called PlanBuild Tasmania. And John, with your attire, it would just be silly not to throw to you and have you kind of go into what PlanBuild Tasmania kind of is trying to achieve and what they're doing to get off the ground.
It seems to me like the most simpler way to understand it is just it's an online portal that they're striving to do, that where you can go through the application phase through to the approval phase to the signing off for any renovations, adjustments to the property that you need to do that require council approval.
Yeah, and stepping back from that, it allows you just to research any property in Tasmania and just first find out the zoning of what it is, and then allows you to sort of start the conversation to see if what you want to do on the property is technically possible.
Yeah, so that was the bit that kind of pricked my ears because I know that you had a property down in Battery Point for sale that was, kind of a rare sale. It's on a really, really great spot.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people looking into purchasing that would be wondering like, well, what can I do with this? Like, can I turn it into a business? Can I Airbnb it out, which is a whole nother topic at the moment. But yeah, is that something like people have been asking you about in regards to that property?
Well, with that one with mixed urban use, I had to go into the building code or the zoning area and then print off that section because it's actually all the resources to be able to quickly find it. It's actually really difficult. So
is it?
Well, not anymore. Well, I wouldn't say it's not difficult, but it actually took me a while to try and just extract exactly what we'd need to be able to provide that to a client. And
yeah, cool. So I guess where my then thinking from there is like if you've had some trouble trying to navigate that and you're specifically looking for it as somebody that's selling the property, like you're in this area. If you're just a layman and you're kind of wanting to find this stuff, that seems like it would be even more difficult. So this PlanBuild thing seems to be like something to take all that stress out of it and give you a bit of insight into it. Is that kind of what we're thinking?
Well, I suppose too, the other thing from the council as well, if they can give people a way to be able to do a lot more research than they can that doesn't involve walking into the council, because at the moment it's pretty much all you can do. Like the only real option is to just which is fine. Like often they're really, really helpful. However, it's not always available for people, and sometimes it might just be something as small as getting a garden shed on there. So to have these online resources to make these general inquiries and get good sound advice seems game changer.
How long did it take you to find out the zoning when you were researching this property at Battery Point?
Well, it's to find it out. Well, how I had to do was go through the list to the map stage to go mixed urban use, and then I had to go to iPlan, extract the
20 seconds using this new product. Just did it.
yeah, exactly. So
Excellent. I was like, I could see Pat was like throwing you in for a bit of trouble. He's like, I just found it, John.
John, this we're gonna have to like implement this to all our staff. It's a great
well,
product.
it's same too. Like even the dial before you dig product. Like that's that same thing where.
So when I kind of read about this the first time, I was like, oh, this sounds like dial before you dig, but like on steroids or to the next level where it's literally kind of go to this place and it will give you, because it gives you like, the gas lines and all the other things. You get a property report that can be generated with maps, details of the planning, codes and other information that affect the selected property. So is that like, I'm just spitballing here, is that like the easements and stuff as well? Like when someone says, oh, there's an easement on
that kind of stuff.
There you go.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
all that stuff would be accessible here at this PlanBuild.
Yeah, I've just created the PDF on John's property at Battery Point while we sit here, and it's a 5-page PDF it generates, and it's literally got everything. It's got the zoning, it's got where the water pipes are running with Tas Water, it's got
awesome.
power lines.
That's awesome.
Sewerage.
Well, because at the moment for that, what we had to do was, like I said, get out the mixed urban use definition and print those pages out, or save as a PDF. Dial before you dig, which is a great service, and then that will give you like response from the 10 different suppliers. We ended up getting a direct call from Tasgas saying, "Hey, you're doing something. What's going on here?" But then, of course, they are separate attachments again. So then it takes a while to put this whole report together just to do what you did in 20 seconds.
God, that's good.
Game changer.
It is.
Oh,
It's game
throws
changer.
the hands in the air.
He's done.
If only I'd known about this.
It was probably live a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, stick a fork in me, I'm done.
It's kind of like at our school, like all the cool stuff used to happen after we didn't need it anymore.
I think what I really like about it is a lot of agents love to write about a property, and then they'll say, unit development is available subject to council approval in brackets. And then they leave it to the purchaser to actually go and figure out if the story that they're spinning is actually true and correct, and if it's actually possible to do it. And then they wipe their hands of it because they can say, well, I said it was subject to council approval. That's on you to figure out if it actually is.
Oh, I never knew. So that STCA that sits on a bunch of things, that's just basically saying like, I'm not going to look into it. You can go look into it.
It's basically saying, look, we reckon you can put a unit in the backyard, but we're not an expert in the topic, so we're going to put this disclaimer here to get ourselves out of trouble.
This is me throwing my hands in the air. I never knew that. Oh, wow.
So this is great for that because you can, as a consumer, well, they're saying I can build a unit. You can quickly jump on here, and it may throw a red flag for you straight away, and you can be like, well, that's bullshit. I hesitated. Can I say that?
You can say it. We've had I think 2 or 3 other shits on the podcast before, and they're generally you guys.
So at least that allows a little bit more transparency, and for us as agents, we can do a quick research on the property and like, well, okay, the zoning meets the criteria, and the size of the block meets the criteria. So a few things there we can tick off, so we feel a little bit more comfortable of putting that claim out there.
Absolutely.
But a purchaser can do their own research as well with this website, so it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, so looking on Nino's notes here, it basically says that PlanBuild Tasmania's aim is to deliver a consistent, transparent and streamlined application process to all users, property owners, property developers, industry professionals, general public and other agencies. So, yeah, it's trying to take all that stress and headache out of it. Like, how many times do you hear like, oh, yeah, we're trying to get this sorted, but, we've got to go get it through council and we don't even know if it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So rather than getting like 50 kilometres down the road, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, we can find out this stuff early.
Well, effectively, the only real way of doing it was to submit it in big envelopes, be it via post or via giant emails. So this obviously they've got all their forms, but this first phase 1 I think it describes is that
I'll jump in and help you, John. Phase 1 is really just the inquiry stage. So, looking at the property, what's possible, being able to download the report, and then also seeing how it works within the Tasmanian planning scheme. So one thing that came out, I don't know the exact year, but a while back we now changed to a statewide planning scheme where it used to be that every council had their own different planning scheme, so you could do different things in different councils, where now we just have the one uniformed planning scheme,
Yep.
which allows systems like this to work because
Yeah.
now that we're all under the same scheme, the rules apply to the same people everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. And I suppose then, because it says the next one, once the phase 2 will be that you can actually start, doing the applications through the software, etc. But obviously, this phase 1, which is great because they're going to be, it's live but you still call it. I'm assuming it'd be more than beta testing, but they're not going to sit there and throw it all on the table straight away because that would just cause a mess. But I think this, inquiry stage and research stage is brilliant.
Yeah, it's got here that phase 1 is inquiry, phase 2 application. It's even got things like you're paying your fees or purchase the certificate of title, track the status of an application, uploads documents. So I guess it's that same thing of being like, oh, I've given it to them, but it could just be sitting on someone's desk waiting to be done. Like this way, it's kind of...
You can sit there and
and
see
say
exactly
like,
where
oh,
it's
yeah,
at.
it's at this stage of the process and like it just is waiting to be approved sort of thing. So that's coming later in 2022. It would be awesome if we could... find someone to talk to about it. It'd be cool to kind of, go further down this rabbit hole because, it pricked my ears. I thought it would prick your ears. Looking
It's
into
worth
it.
checking out, like for anyone who's listening, because was it planbuild.tas.gov.au? I know it's sort of long, obviously it's been in the works for a long time, but it's cool, awesome when dumped it. I'm just like, holy moly, I didn't even realise this was coming.
No. So we'd looked into it, we discussed it. So we're planning a blog post, and actually then hopefully from there we can pop that into the Property Pod magazine, which I'd be really excited to announce that.
Plug time.
That edition 2 has just gone live. It is out in some of your coffee shops and places around Hobart. If you are a Property Pod listener and you'd like a copy, just reach out and we can definitely arrange one to be sent to you. Also, is online. We love kind of going cross platform. So at issue ISSW, I believe it is. We can correct that, but
Nope, spot on.
You
Got it.
Didn't you say nope? Spot on.
Nope, you're correct. You are spot on.
You can head there and have a look at all of the Property Pod magazine and all of its glory. It's a really, really good read. A bunch of stuff about 414 in there, but also a bunch of stuff about the local community and things that we've covered off in the Property Pod over the journey.
Yeah. Did you? Now I saw your arms wave. Did you find something cool again? Did you, mate?
I just got excited. I'm selling a property out of Racecourse Road, Brighton, and someone asked me the other day, was it heritage listed? And I was like, I have no idea. I just chucked it in. This tells me it is.
Oh, really?
We ended up doing what you did and going into the register and looking it up. But this PlanBuild just brings it straight up and it tells me its heritage number and everything. So It's a pretty cool product.
All right, so from here on out, I'll be taking a little slice of commish for bringing PlanBuild to you boys. I would just like a little slice of being like, oh, you've saved me so much time.
Little something.
Look, it's cool. I thought it was cool. I'm glad that it has turned out to be. And look, it's blown minds already. Hopefully it continues to blow minds. I've got other stuff to talk about today, but we thought that might have been a short little discussion, but turns out we could waffle on about it and kind of go for it. So, look, what if we were to stop recording now, wrap it up here, and then maybe we could just roll straight into the next one next week?
Yeah, it's good, guys.
Awesome. Rock and roll. Perfect.
Till next time.
Till next time. See ya. You have been listening to the Property Pod, recorded and edited by 414 Media House in conjunction with 414 Property Co.
This podcast is general information only, and the thoughts and views expressed is the opinion of our panel, and listeners should always seek then use their own investigation into any topic we discuss to ensure they fully understand their own situation.
It does not constitute and should not be relied on as purchasing, selling, financial or investment advice or recommendations, express or implied, and it should not be used as an invitation to take up any agent or investment services. No investment decision or activity should be undertaken on the basis of this information without first seeking qualified and professional advice.